Hello and welcome to episode 3 of our Waterbeavers Update 6 playthrough here. Cycle 3, Day 1. Last time we got into a little bit of mischief, but I think we're going to be just fine today. Things that we accomplished that I would consider to be landmark achievements last episode. We started building the library, and obviously we still need a bunch of planks for it, but everything else is ready to go, and these guys are certainly going to try their best to eventually produce that many planks. We've got our first of many alternative food sources up and running with the fermentation barrel, even though there's nobody working there currently. We have already produced a batch of kimchi that has been immediately consumed, but we have a relatively stable supply of cabbages. We got some sunflower seeds as well, and we have 2 farmhouses working on those things, and we will definitely need to keep expanding all of our production stuff, but that is going to take time. You cannot rush it, or you will immediately die. We already had a hard enough time trying to keep all of our water and stuff in supply, so just keep that in mind. It is going to be slow. All that being said, we do have an opportunity to put in our next bit of food production right here with our mushroom grower, which, thanks very much to those of you who can comprehend math, for early game, it has been decided that the fast recipe is better for our current situation because we have excess sawdust we can't do anything with, and the fast recipe consumes a lot less water, and it takes half as much time to produce 40 mushrooms as it does with the slow method. So, currently, like I said, for what we have right now, this works. Obviously, long-term, producing sawdust is going to be important for other stuff as well. Like I see paper was specifically mentioned. So, you know, just putting in the regular logs and 20 pieces of water. It's not a piece of water. You get the idea. Using the slow method when we get a little bit further into the game is going to be better. But for right now, and right now only, the fast method is going to be what we use. So as soon as they pick up these cabbages here, we will use this space for taking care of that. Yes, bramble people. We are going to get rid of all of these brambles on the path. Don't worry. It is just it's just a thing. A very, very slow process, but we are free of bramble problems over here. We have contained them behind the fence. We are free of bramble problems here once these are all removed. I know it's a very slow process. It is what it is. That's just the way it goes. But I wanted to address something else as well, and that is last episode I said that it was going to be impossible to put a water pump in this area and get the effect that we wanted with the deeper reservoir here because you can't put watertight buildings on top of platforms. However, it was then revealed to me by our beloved mod creator that the buildings have been changed, and now you can do this. I probably should have tried it before I just said, all right, well, we can't do that, because, yes, this is actually a viable option now. So, yeah, you know, I think for where we are now, it makes more sense to just go ahead and build this here, but 17 logs plus an additional 25 is not really a resource we want to prioritize over here right now because... Oh, actually, you know, we hadn't even started building this one. Okay, well, if that's the case, then maybe I don't need to put this here at all, because this would be kind of the same thing. Well, anyway, this is going to be coming up sooner anyway. I'm going to deprioritize, I suppose, this guy and this guy, just to keep that kind of going. But now, of course, we do have to continue making planks out of the logs, and we only have a couple logs. That's why I don't want them to build all of this stuff at once. We now have the gather to come over here, not that one, put up a lumberjack flag. I just need to make sure that this guy at this gather flag can grab all of those, and it looks like that's the case. So this gather flag gets to go away and gets to be replaced with a lumberjack flag, which I guess it doesn't really matter which way this goes because we're not really reaching much of anything else anyway. I'll just put it this way. We have to cut down these everblossom trees and utilize those for our wood purposes. We do have one of these lumberjack flags here, but I think it's going to be to our benefit to have multiple flags that we can deprioritize or pause at will, and we certainly didn't need to have a second gather flag here. he says, as the gather flag is completely deprioritized. But again, there's a lot of stuff going on, and we need to increase our population before we can have everything manned all at once. Yes, it was stupid to not have the water pumps prioritized, so I'm going to bring that back up to normal priority because, you know, we don't have a whole lot of water, and we need to increase our storage anyway. Just keep in mind, we can't make these larger ones until we have science, which we won't have until we have the library, and we have to have tar, and we have to have the metal fasteners and all that. And tar, I believe, is one of those things that has to be created in one of these other buildings we haven't built yet. We already talked a little bit about the primitive ironworks, and again, that's not going to be possible to even be used at all until we have scrap metal, at the very least, and coal. So there is a little bit of scrap metal here. There's a little bit over here. And then outside of that, most of the rest is going to be a little bit of a challenge to get to. I know there's a little bit here. But there isn't a ton relative to some of the other maps we played. There isn't a ton available. So we're going to probably before too long need to very heavily consider producing our own scrap metal, which, you know, is not something you can normally do in Timberborn. This is a function of the Whitepaws mod. You can come in with a primitive smelter, 25 pieces of iron and 25 pieces of coal, wait almost 2 days, and then you get 15 pieces of scrap metal out of it. And then, you know, there's other ways to, you know, make and utilize stuff as well. The high temperature foundry also has a recipe, but that is just so far ahead in the future. We're not even going to bother looking at it right now. Mechanical drills, obviously much faster to get iron and coal, but again, that's very far in the future, requires blueprints and all that other stuff. So it would be in our best interest to use metal wisely, and that's going to be something we're going to have to talk about as we get there. But we're going to need to start with a primitive mine probably sooner rather than later, if for no other reason than to start stockpiling some of these materials if we have spare labor. And remember how I said this space right here would have been a pretty good spot to put a mine. That is still, in this general area, one of the only places I could actually put one. The other one being here and then here. But we do have a whole lot of brambles just still in the way, so let's triple speed this. Get them out of that. We are pumping water again, which is good. We have some empty beds, which is good. They're going to fill those, and then we'll have a few more beavers available to do stuff. You know, it just takes time. We also need to start replaying. See, early game water beavers is really, really hard. I think some of you guys don't understand just how ridiculously complicated this mod is, and it's not the same as vanilla Timberborn, where you can just kind of whatever. So a lot of dumb stuff is going to happen. And it's not because I'm baiting you. This is just this is just how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this so we can have a beaver start planting these trees again. We are going to need the wood a lot sooner than you might think. And we just kind of have to keep juggling these things. We got to stay on top of these brambles, man. Like, I'm telling you, that there is a reason I was so hyper-focused on this last episode, because it is impossible to get anything else done if you have brambles choking up everything. Fortunately, we do have this kind of wall that, like you see, it just pops up immediately. It will take your entire workforce to eliminate them if you aren't on top of it. So, seeing how that is the case, I do want to put a what do you call it here? A primitive mine, but it's gonna be a very, very slow process to get over there. You're gonna have to be patient with me. And this is probably gonna spawn at least one more seedling before they even have a chance. You see, look at this, look at this. I told you. I told you this is completely insane. They don't stop. They never stop. They never stop, never stopping. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. They did build this. We don't have anybody working, but we do have extra beds, which was part of the goal as well. Yeah, see, look at this. Look at this. You get one of these things out, and then another one pops up. Never ends. Never ends. At least this is basically taken care of as soon as that one's done. I think we'll be okay. Should be fine. We are starting to fill up our water, and we need to put more storage in. From purely a materials economy standpoint, the best thing that we can do is just build regular small tanks. So I'm going to take this out of triple speed now. I believe the bramble problem is permanently solved until we have to do something in this area here, or have to expand to other parts of the map. But we need more water storage. We don't really have too much going on over here. Have they started putting this stuff in? I mean, we have the logs. That's probably fine. I'm going to, in this exact location here, put one of these tanks. I'm so used to the path being on the far left. Make sure that can hold some water. And I guess, yeah, this should probably be the next thing to do. Oh, cool. We only have only have 39 more planks left. So they're going to be doing their best to get that taken care of. I'm going to go ahead for right now and say we need to be harvesting cabbage. Going to have both of these farmhouses do it. Remember, we only have one worker per farmhouse in the Waterbeavers, unlike Folktales or Iron Teeth. And if we want more, we have to have upgrades to the farmhouse. So you have assistant farmers, which can go on the top of this thing right here. But again, that takes science, and it takes tools, which we do not have. They can't plant crops. You see that big red text there. But they can harvest them. And it will employ 2. So you're effectively doubling the harvesting ability of these farmhouses. And you can, I don't know, the different people are going to play this different ways, but you can have the regular farmhouses plant, and the assistants always harvest, and it ends up being pretty balanced depending on what you're looking at. But I need them to come grab these cabbages so I can put mushrooms in. I could also, I guess I could just put the mushroom thing over here, because this is already contaminated land. Yeah, you know what? That's gonna be so much easier to do it that way. Let's set this to fast mushroom growth, and we're going to need to have some storage. I'm going to leave this space open here for an additional mushroom farm when we get to that point, but we will need to have somewhere to put mushroom storage and sawdust storage and all that. So if we go to our piles here, see, this is 4 tiles, 80 resource storage, so that's 20 tiles apiece. This is 9, 180 resource storage, 20 per tile. So the density of storage in the Waterbeavers mod, I am pretty sure, is more or less the same per tile for a lot of this stuff. Like this one's 20. The long tiny pile is 40. The pit pile is 44, so you get a little bit of a boost that way. But yeah, the large industrial pile stackable is the same as it was. And then the gigargantuan one that we can't build until like very, very late game is obviously a whole lot better for that, because it has a 5,000 capacity. But regardless, what I'm trying to get at with this is we need to be able to actually place stuff over here that we can utilize, like sawdust, and then have storage for things that we make with it, which currently we only have access to the crappy warehouse, which I believe... see, I don't want to, like, box myself into a specific place. But I guess this is probably fine here. Just for right now. It's never going to be perfect. That's just not how it works. Where's the mushrooms? Where is the mushroom thing in the warehouse? So that's the bad mushroom. There we go. There we go. I don't know why that always throws me off, but it does. So once these log stairs eventually get built, then that's going to allow us to have access to the bad water bucketing post, which will require a path as well. Why did I do that way? Well, we can put in a tank here for bad water, which we will need to store. That will be a very important thing for us to take care of, but looks like I probably don't need to expedite this right now, but we might get to that point depending on how other stuff is set up. We do have the tank here, which is good. That's important. This is going to need water storage over here as well. So what I will go ahead and do, just so I don't forget about it, get this blueberry bush removed, and then I will immediately put a tank there so we don't have brambles occupy the spot. Probably should have water storage next to any of these. Dirty beavers can clean themselves at the showers, so that's working out just fine. And I probably should stop prioritizing cabbage now that we've kind of established that that is not going to be a problem. Alright, so day 5. We do not have the drought warning yet. So things are still looking up. I would like to increase our food production, but it's going to have to be mushrooms at least to get this started. But obviously we can, you know, depopulate the workplace, not pause it. We can just take the beaver out of it once it's actually got a supply here. You can see that's just consuming everything that is in it, and that will last a little bit longer. We're going to have a kind of limited amount of mushrooms to be stored here. 150 is a lot for right now, but late game, not really. Probably don't need to be worrying about that quite yet, though. Cabbages. Probably should have somebody working in this, but again, we only have so many beavers. We gotta juggle them. That's not something I am particularly good at. So gather flag is not gathering. That's fine. We're not really in the lurch for any of these berries yet. Probably need to start thinking about getting some haulers going. I know we only have 20 beavers, but we're gonna make good use of them if you have a small quantity of beavers, and that is something that can be done with regular houses. That's where most of the haulers live in this game, and I'm very curious how soon we're going to get a bad tide, because remember what I said last episode about how there's not really any good way to have dams or whatever. Sluices effectively do not exist in Waterbeavers unless something has changed that I don't know about. So the thing we're going to have to do when we get our first bad tide is we're going to have to block this area off. I've done this a little bit before, but we have a 4-wide space, which means 2 of these lodges could very, very easily plug that up, but no water is going to get through because, you know, they're watertight. They work as a levee. So if we want to have, you know, any clean water coming through here, there's going to have to be the floodgate dams, which, boy, was that a saga building that in the last playthrough. But these guys are basically the only water control we have, save for, I think, one of these. Yeah, the mechanized water pump has filters. So the sluice does not exist, but this thing does actually allow it to select either clean or dirty or whatever. I think. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Not that we're going to get to that anytime soon, mind you, but just to kind of keep our options open here. And this is still functioning, but it has just now run out of sawdust. This is where haulers would be very, very convenient, because we, you know, I don't want to have a permanent beaver, as opposed to a temporary beaver, a beaver permanently stationed in the mushroom grower, but having a beaver who is a hauler working that can go to a bunch of different stuff, much better use of materials. And by materials, I mean beavers. So, to that end, we have just the regular lodge that will employ 1 beaver as a hauler and store 3 more beavers, beaver storage. And then you have the pass-through lodge that, you know, is the same kind of thing, except it just takes up more space and it has a doorway inside of it. We also have a 2-story watertight lodge that would not require me to put in stairs to get down here. And this would have the entrance either on the 2nd floor or the 1st floor. And if I built this right here, then that would already be half of our bad water prevention thing here, while still allowing water to get in here, and we just have to put in something else later. Plus, I wouldn't have to build stairs, like I already said. So, I think this is probably going to be one of the smarter things we could build if we're going to do that. But I do still want to check pit and ladder lodges. Very, very good building. Because, 1, you can stack them basically infinitely. 2, I just like them. But they don't require planks. And they still employ the same number of beavers as haulers, and you can also stack builders on this. It's a 3x3 building, so it wouldn't completely close things off, but it would make it that much easier to get that accomplished when the time comes. So, we don't necessarily have to put it right here, but this water pump remember, we talked a little bit before about how things in the Waterbeavers are meant to be upgraded. We can put a second water pump here, and then we can put a water pump upgrade right in between these two. Obviously, it's not going to let me do it right now. So it would be in our best interest to actually not build a house right here, or at least not build it in a way that would block the construction of a water pump. So for us to be able to do that, it would make more sense for us to try and come in from this side to get into this house. We just have some trees in the way, but we do have a slope here that can be utilized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, I guess probably right here makes more sense, put in this lumberjack flag. We're going to start cutting down these trees, and then, oh, they haven't even built this one yet. Joke's on me. But I'm going to put in a pit and ladder lodge. Not the side door, because they're not going to be able to get into it, but I'm going to put in the tower segment for the haulers, which doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, organized in any specific way, but it's going to go in this tile here, just so that later on when we put this other water pump in, we're not going to have any interference with stuff. And then we can also, if we have to, before we build the second one of those, we can pop in, actually no, the tall and narrow lodge isn't going to fit, but I can put a regular lodge right here that will do the same amount of blocking. So the tower segment does not require planks, which is something that is very good for us, because we're currently putting all the planks into making the library. This is going to be housing for 6 beavers, and employ 2 as haulers, like I've said, so I don't need to spend any more time talking about that. We'll just let them take care of what they need to take care of, and continue going about our business. And then once that's taken care of, we can tick the checkbox for the haulers to be operating the mushroom grower, and that's going to be nice. We've got a decent supply of cabbages. We do still have some mushrooms. I really would like to have somebody in this fermentation barrel, so I'm just going to have somebody bring in some cabbages real quick, and then we will de-employ them just as soon as that starts going, because it does take 3 days to... I look at this and I see Fago, and I think of 3 days, and I think of that SpongeBob episode where they like rip the house open. It's like, it took us 3 days to make that potato salad, or I don't know. Musings of a deranged mind, but nevertheless, we continue. Let's see if we can get this operating real quick here, so we can have this one beaver go and do literally anything else. Come on, couple more cabbages, make it happen. Let's go. All right, cool. That problem is solved. How are we looking here? Still, got nobody cutting these trees down. That's understandable. We can pause this lumberjack flag and force them to come over here. Start taking these trees down. We have put all the pine resin in here, which is good. We are going to need to get more pine resin. I'm about 90% sure that I don't need to build another one of these with the side door, because they can just, you know, climb down this ladder here, and we'll just have to have a path attached to it. But obviously later on we could make this go taller if we wanted to, and that would be totally fine. Alright, still looking okay over here. Food-wise, I would much rather have a lot more cabbages right now, but that's not going to happen until we can get our farmhouse upgraded. We still need 33 of these planks. I do have 5 beavers in the log gnawing station, which is good, but we don't have logs for them to gnaw, which is why this beaver working to the lumberjack flag is so important currently. Water storage is not quite full, but it will be soon. I probably, for the benefit of our upcoming drought, should have this tank prioritized. And I guess... Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to deprioritize this forester, and I'm going to turn this lumberjack flag back on. So we can have somebody cutting these trees down as well. Ah, but now nobody's in here. Please tell me that's not going to take this beaver away. Okay, good. Good. As far as building is concerned, yes, building is important, but I don't think I need to have 4 beavers doing that right now. So if I go down to 2, that should allow more of this stuff to be operating at once. I've got 3 pumpers pumping. I've got my storage for water just about full, so this needs to get done quickly. Would be great. going to go ahead and put this path in here. We're going to have to be very... Why is this not going to... I hope I didn't make a terrible mistake building this first. We'll see what happens. I don't think we need to be that worried about it yet. Yeah, put this back on triple speed. The haulers cannot come soon enough. Okay, so we do have enough logs. They're just taking their time bringing them over here. That's fine. That's fine. 4.2 hours to make a single plank is just... Ooh, it hurts me on a fundamental level. But it's fine. The sawdust... Ah, yeah, the sawdust is the problem. That's why that stopped. So now... we have to finish the brown log stairs so we can finish this pile so we can have sawdust storage. We already have a big storage over here. Oh, the perils of early water beavers. At least we have this tank complete. And that is rapidly filling up. Juggling log usage. Always a problem. Now I'm out of free beds, which is why I was hoping this would be complete soon, but it is what it is. At least the stairs are done. And now there's sawdust space, so they can continue gnawing. See, that's the other thing that always screws me up with water beavers, is the buildings will just pause themselves. Well, they won't technically pause themselves. They'll stop producing at the drop of a hat if they can't complete the recipe in terms of there's not enough storage space for the outputs. But there's no notification for it because, you know, that's not how the game works. But there's so many things to keep track of that it is very hard. Very, very hard to be able to do all of that stuff. If we had the mushroom grower actually staffed to grab the sawdust out of here, then, you know, it wouldn't be that big of a problem. But again, that's one of those things the haulers have to be able to do. And we need 33 more logs to come in here to do that. We have the logs. Looks like they're just building the bad water bucketing post, which again is necessary. I'm just not going to have it going right now. So I guess I'll just let them finish that. No. We're not doing that right now. We're not doing that right now. Put all of your logs into the tower segment here. And then if I do in fact have to build another one of these that has a side door, then at that point I will have to accept my bad choices. But for now, I think we're okay. Yep, no surprise here. We're still missing 33. I think they're actually still making progress on this. Okay, day 11 with no drought warning is very good news for us, because that means we're going to have time to put in some more water storage. And this is complete, but I can't get into it because there are trees in the way. So, for the sake of time, as soon as I get rid of that, I will go ahead and... Okay. Yeah, yeah, alright. I did it to myself. So what... Oh, sheesh. What we have to do is we now have to put in a side door, which I will go ahead and... Oh, that was the first one. I was about to say, why can't I find this? Alright, is the doorway on the correct side here? Yes. Now we get to build this, which means we're going to have space for 12 additional beavers. But there will be 4 hauler beavers just as soon as they take care of all of this. And I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay. We'll just leave this open for now, and then come back with something else when the time strikes for that. Now the problem we've run into is we're out of pine resin, but the good news is I can pause this lumberjack flag and I can unpause this tapper's flag very easily. And then that should complete that relatively quickly. Okay, I've got storage for mushrooms going. I've got storage for sawdust going. Somebody put something in here, which is, you know, good. That's a good thing. I'm guessing if I had an extra beaver, I probably could employ them in this lumberjack flag. We'd want to get rid of all these brambles anyway. But I'm thinking I might want to wait until we're in a drought to do that, because then the brambles at the very least cannot spread nearly as much. I am absolutely shocked we have not gotten a drought warning yet. It's day 13. Come on. Okay, so this is still working. We do have a beaver working here, because now we've kind of gotten to the point where we can actually employ beavers. We got all of these pumps pumping. I need more storage. Why did I hit pause? I don't need to hit pause. I can just hit not pause. Okay, so for right now, I'm just going to make these into water storage, get about as much stored as we can. I know this is not like the most efficient use of logs, but this is basically the best log to whatever storage ratio that we have. The small plank tank is a terrible, terrible waste of planks at this point. But now, as soon as this gets connected with paths... Oh, wait, you know what? I didn't... Oh, God. I didn't have this connected. It almost certainly would have worked, but whatever. It is what it is. Now, we have... now we have 15 of these. All right, so... in terms of population management, we have full water storage, and these are not being used as dams, so it's not cheating if I pause them. I will not leave them paused. Don't worry, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I'm going to pause these 3 water pumps, which is going to eliminate 9 housing slots, which will bring us down to 6 open. I'm going to also pause this water pump, which is going to bring us down to 3. When those slots are filled with baby beavers, I will unpause a water pump. It's going to be okay. We can't have a population explosion. That's going to be a terrible mistake to have that. But now we've got... maybe I didn't need to build this second one, but now we have haulers, which means we can actually utilize everything a lot more efficiently. So we're going to prioritize that by haulers. Farmhouses probably don't need to be prioritized, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then that definitely can be prioritized. So we're getting off to a decent start. We got 4 hauler beavers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why I pointed at that. 5 buildings prioritized. I think we can make that work. All right, so if that increases the speed at which we produce planks, that would be fantastic. I'm not really going to hold my breath because it's still 4.2 working hours per plank, and we only have 16-hour days, which means realistically, at best, you're going to have 3 complete planks made per day. Maybe a little bit less because of how this is functioning. But now we might actually stand a chance of getting some more stuff accomplished. And probably what's going to come next needs to be the metal production stuff. But that's going to require we get rid of brambles. And I am unwilling to commit substantial resources to bramble removal until we're sure a lot of other stuff is getting better as well. So we have all this extra space here. I don't really want to plant any more sunflower seeds, and we don't have enough for other food processing. So I guess I could put more cabbage, because this is not infected. We got a little tiny bit here. But if I just go ahead and plant more cabbage here, that is a much more future-proof solution to get that put in place. Remember, we do want to have upgraded farmhouses when we have science for that. Okay, 39. See, this is going so much better at this point. So much better. Clear this space out. Probably a much better place over here to be, planting trees. However, remember that this water source here, when we have our first bad tide, is going to kill everything on this island. Hopefully not everything back here, because this will be ideally kept safe and be totally fine. All right, I have 1 free bed here. I'm going to unpause 1 water pump. So now we have 4 and 3 beds because someone was just born. Slowly, we will take care of our problems here. We will not allow it to be an incredible disaster. I'm going to try my best. Put a couple more tanks in. We've got plenty of trees that can be cut if I actually mark them for cutting. Now that that's a thing. Those are on a higher level and they probably are not reachable. But now they can at least do that. We can get across here pretty easily to get to the rest of this. But I do want to be careful about brambles. Alright, day 15. Come on. There it is. There's a drought warning. We got 3 days. So that is good news for us. We're not getting a bad tide yet in cycle 3, obviously, but we have a water pump that can go down to this lower area. We have another water pump that can go down to this lower area, and we have these two that are up higher. So the next one I'm going to unpause is going to be this, because the water is going to be there longer, and we all know how easily I can forget things. So this is operating. We're getting plenty of mushrooms. That's looking good. And it's probably time to start thinking about what we're going to do next for food stuff. We can make a cooking tent. And the very first recipe there is cabbages and mushrooms in an hour become braised cabbages. So, I guess braised cabbage would be the correct term. This is a really good early game recipe. Equal parts cabbage, equal parts mushroom. 3 of each gives you 7 units of braised cabbage. So if we can continue producing cabbage at a a satisfying pace, then this will be the next building we need to build. However, we need to have clay pots to do these, and we don't have those yet. How you get clay pots, you go into industrial buildings, you build a clay pit, and then every hour you get 1 lump of clay. You can employ up to 4 beavers. If you have fewer than 4 beavers, then obviously it's going to take longer. And then this building also, as of update 5, water beavers, allows you to kind of pan for gold, more or less. If you put 100 pieces of dirt in, then in an hour you can get 1 piece of gold. Which you might be thinking sounds completely insane and a huge waste of time. But late game water beavers, because of the way the mechanical drills and everything are set up, you're going to be having so much dirt you cannot possibly use all of it. Unless you're just building insane amounts of new terrain, which, why would you do that? It takes forever in this mod. It's a waste of time. But, well, okay. For this map, we might actually find ourselves having to do that. All that being said, we don't yet have a surplus of beavers, but when we do, it's going to be to our benefit to have a clay pit. However, that's not how commas work, but we're about to be in a drought, which means if by the time I'm going to pause. By the time we get to the point where we could justifiably support a clay pit, there's not going to be any water to use to make clay. So we're going to build this now. And we're going to prioritize it so I can have clay, so I can make clay pots. How do you make clay pots? I'm so glad you asked. Take a look at the wood burner. It takes 20 pieces of clay to make the wood burner. And then in the wood burner, you put an additional 20 pieces of clay and 20 logs, and then you can make a small clay pot. If you're good at math, even if you're bad at math, I figured this out just now by looking at it. There is no possible way, unless we had like 20 beavers working on gathering clay, that we can get enough clay, which would be 40 pieces of clay, by the time the drought starts, for us to be able to have a small clay pot by the end of the episode. So, technically speaking, we probably shouldn't be bothering with this, but we're going to want to have access to more food options pretty quick, because look at this. Oh, you got 165. Yeah, most of it's mushrooms. Most of it's mushrooms. We're going to have to start multiplying these things. So, all of that to say, clay pit is now going to be constructed right here. And that is going to get 4 workers as soon as it is done. We're going to have some more logs to get that taken care of. I don't have logs stored here. I don't think I have logs stored anywhere currently. But that's going to be what we have to at least try to get a little bit going before the drought starts. Every little bit matters. Remember, it is... What was the recipe for this? Yeah, 1 hour, 1 clay. And if we can have this finished by the end of this day, then we will have, in theory, 32 working hours, which would be almost enough clay for us to start the process of making clay pots. We could at least build the primitive smelter, whatever the thing's called. No, the wood burner. Oh, there's so many things that have to get made. The primitive smelter takes clay too, by the way. Okay, so they're definitely not going to have this done by the end of the day. I was mistaken, but that's fine. We got enough to do. It's not going to be that big of a deal. So we planted cabbage. I don't think they're planting additional stuff here. Well, we have enough to harvest. It's probably okay for now. We just can't run out of food. It's very, very, very easy to run out of food. 15. We got 15 planks left to have the library done, but we're not going to be able to use it. Not yet. Yeah, see those bad water mushrooms. Bad water mushrooms are going to be a thing. I probably should be harvesting these berries. And also keeping note of which berries will die when we have our first bad tide. These are still going to be fine. Because, well, actually they might not be. We're going to see. Some of these berries will be fine. These will almost certainly be dead. First bad tide is only 1 day, so there's a chance some of these plants might not die. But, yeah. You know how it goes. We got 1 day left. I have two free beds. Yeah, I did say I wasn't going to unpause these, but I think our need to have water is a little bit more important. So I will unpause this water pump so we can at least have somebody else working here. I will prioritize that and that, lest we repeat the mistakes of yesterday. And I do still only have 2 beavers working as builders, which is, I guess, okay. We can come in here and we can lower the amount of haulers. So we only have 2 total. I don't think we're really going to need 4. Remember, I'm trying to get at least some amount of clay, so we're not completely locked behind this for the next, like, entire episode. We can have that taken care of. Some of these are going to dry out, and I actually probably should not have planted these cabbages here. These are probably fine. These might dry out. Most of the rest of this stuff should still be okay. We will see. We will see what happens. I didn't want to, you know, close this up quite yet. So I don't think I will. Unless... See, you're also not supposed to use buildings that are not accessible as dams because, again, everything is a house. You're not supposed to cheese it. So if I build this, they have to be able to access it, which they're not going to be able to. I could, if I had the planks, instead build a 2-story watertight lodge, which this building is flippable. I could put that there for right now, but I don't have the planks to sacrifice to that yet, so I'm not going to do that. We're just going to, you know, take our lumps as they come. We've got 40 logs, so this can go ahead and be paused. I know we have all of our lumberjack flags currently paused, but I need these beavers to be doing stuff, man. We got jobs. We got jobs for them to do. I think we are out of sawdust stored. Okay, no, we have sawdust in here, which is good. Still making mushrooms, which is the only thing currently feeding the beaver. Oh, no, we have a batch of kimchi's done. Okay, okay. That's good. And there's so many cabbages in here. Oh, good. I thought we were just, you know, they were eating all the cabbages. No, they're stored in the fermentation barrels. Remember, the previous version of the Waterbeavers that I played did not have this giant fermentation barrel. It was a bunch of really tiny ones. I spammed them all over the map, and that was annoying. But this is a whole lot better. Whole lot better setup. We're making progress, folks. We're making progress. In terms of water storage, we have a capacity of 360. We have 228 right now. Each beaver will consume 2 per day on normal. We have 26 beavers, so every single day we're going to require 52 units of water. Our drought could be in normal as long as 9 days, which obviously that's not going to be sufficient. We're also using some water to generate mushrooms, which honestly we could probably pause if we had to. just trying to think out loud here. But these 2 pumps that are currently unpaused are quote-unquote drought-proof for our immediate situation right now. I don't have enough beavers to have all of these running at once, which is why those are still paused. I still think we're going to be fine. One, because these 2 can pump the entire drought and probably not drain this to the point where they're not going to be able to pump anymore. I think that's going to be okay. All right. Enough yapping. Triple speed. Get this thing through here. The showers are not going to be functional during a drought once all of this water has gone off the end of the map. So, hope all these beavers are not all dirty, because that is going to cause a problem. We have 24 with clean fur, so that's good. This is going to take a couple days for that status effect to go away. I don't have any indication for the dirty thing, except there's 3 dirty beavers. Okay. 5-day drought. We are probably okay. Probably doing just fine. Obviously, as soon as this river goes dry, we're going to pause the clay pit, because it's going to be completely impossible for it to be used. Down to 2 dirty beavers. Still got some water. Okay, this hasn't complained. Nope, there it goes. There it goes. So that's turned off. The showers will probably, you know, stop functioning shortly. Yep, there they go. Okay, so now all of this is dry. And crucially, these couple things here are dry as well. So we can start by removing the brambles that are actually able to be removed in this specific point. And then we'll take this single bramble out. We'll start building, even if they don't finish it, we'll start building the primitive mine with the understanding that the planks are going to have to go to the library, which we only need 7 of them. We might actually be in kind of okay shape. Cool. Okay, there's only a couple of these cabbages that are not going to survive, which is unfortunate, but a fact of life here. So, other things that we need to be made aware of here. Obviously, I paused that. These aren't going to work. These 3 beavers who are dirty will remain dirty unless we feel like building a tank shower, which will use water we've already gotten out. I don't think I want to do that. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But if it becomes that big of a deal, then we might have to do it. Remember that these 2 water pumps are going to continue pumping for the entire rest of the drought. We are not going to run out of water. It's going to be totally fine. And we do have 14 pieces of clay, which is not enough to build our wood burner. But we can go ahead and start constructing it if we find a good place to put it. Which, you know, honestly, there's not really going to be a whole lot of, this is a great place to put XYZ in Waterbeavers to begin with, because there's just so much stuff going on. But I'm going to go ahead and say any place that does not have the ability to grow crops is probably, for our purposes right now, a good place. That being said, wood burner. Oh, I forgot this has the 2nd level entrance. Well, you know what that means? Is that this can go in bad water. Or any water. But very, very importantly, it can go in bad water. So, I'm going to put that right there. Obviously, this isn't ready to go yet, but I'm going to go ahead and say, put it in clay pot mode in case it accidentally gets finished without any actual clay. So, yeah, I know that's not happening, but we'll go ahead and get this triple speed through the night here. I am so curious. I am so curious to see if we can finish the library by the end of the episode today. 60%. Okay, so this is actually going pretty quickly here. If we can finish the library, we're probably not going to be able to actually start using it yet, but we should, I think I said something to this effect last episode too, we should be prepared as we can. So, we have sunflower seeds, technically. We are making kimchi. We have water. We can have berries if we harvest them. And we can make the mushrooms by clicking on this thing here. That recipe excuse me, is sawdust and bad water. We have not harvested bad water yet. So we have everything in place to produce stuff that the library is going to use. We just don't have the stuff the library is going to use at this point in time. But what we can do is we can start allocating space near the library for that to be a thing. I always have to keep looking at the recipes. So, kimchi does not get stored in a warehouse. It gets stored in a tank. But the brain-stimulating mushrooms can be stored in a warehouse. Berries can be stored in a warehouse. Do I have a storage for berries? I do. That's right there. That's fine. Sunflower seeds. I guess it would be fine to just, that's rice, that's not sunflower seeds. Here they are. That's fine. Let's see. Water, we already knew was the thing. Kimchi, I'm not going to build a tank for. It's just going to have to stay in here. So I think we're actually, oh, they're on the second floor because I forgot the building was halfway built. They got all the stuff. They got all the stuff. Oh man, that's too bad I don't have any bad water. Oh no, we got dirty beavers everywhere. All right, now this is a crisis. we have too many dirty beavers. We can't wait another 2 days. Oh, I wish I didn't have to do this, but tank shower it is. Let's see. It just this building makes me so upset that I have to build this. Where am I going to put this thing? Where am I going to put this thing? I should not use arable land for this. I guess right here is fine. So, that being said, I did say we was going to take this bit of brambles away, get this triple sped up. Yeah, even if we can't do too much else, I do want to start the process of building a primitive mine here. Just as soon as that is done. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Finish that thing. I'm sitting here looking stupid. I don't need help. I can do that just fine all by myself. Come on. There we go. Alright, now all of this has been removed. All the water has been removed. So these... Wow, those take 8 days to die? That's a lot longer than I thought. So these are not going to make it. These ones that are dying are definitely not going to make it. Oh man, if I had more builders, I could absolutely completely eradicate all of these brambles right now. They're not gonna come back. All right, let's take some time to think here. Okay, those are going to die in 6 days. Those are still fine. I don't really have extra beavers currently. But if I don't need any more planks for right now... I know this takes planks. I have one more... Wait a second. Wait a second. What the heck is barreled water? Okay. Okay, alright. How did I not notice that? Is that one of those things I'm going to have to get out of a, like a mechanical pump or something? Alright, let's see if Tool Finder can help me out. Barreled water. No results! Alright, did I spell it wrong? No. Storage barrel. Okay, but where... Like, does this have to connect to something, or is this just a nomenclature I'm not familiar with? I am so curious now. Where do I go to get barreled water? Oh, we haven't even talked about most of this stuff. Like, the Abyss is just absolute insanity. It's really fun. What am I supposed to do about barreled water? Like, that's not a thing... It's not an option for storage here. Is it an option for storage in a pile? No. Is it an option for storage in a warehouse? No. So that, to me, says it's not an item that can exist. But since it has a separate name, I have my doubts. I have never heard of barreled water in the context of this game before. Like, none of these are separate for that. Oh yeah, the hand of soup. We'll talk about that when we get there. What am I supposed to do with this? Okay, the irrigation lodge also has a recipe for barreled water. But where do I get barreled water? Where do I get barreled water? Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. What is... Okay, that's the power outflow thing. Is that one of those science things that I have to, No. Surely it would not be under well-being. Maybe not. Decoration, no. I am... the drinking fountain takes a barreled water. Okay, well, I wish this was clickable so it would tell me how I could actually, you know, do this. None of these can make barreled water. How the... Okay. Alright, I'm just going to ignore that and move on. Because I guess that's basically all I can do. Where the heck do I get barreled water? Come on, man. Ah! That's so aggravating. Because now I got a third of my beavers are dirty. I guess the clean fur thing didn't last that long. What am I supposed to do about barreled water? Like, what? No, the river bath obviously is like one of the next things we probably need to build so that we can have 8 beavers at a time going down in there, but I don't really have a good place to put that. How in the... This says absolutely like, are you absolutely sure? Nothing shows up in Tool Finder. No. It's absolutely nothing. What the heck, man? Come on. Come on. What am I supposed to do with this? Okay. So since I have 1.4 days left, I'm going to attempt to slowly reclaim as much of this land as I can. I'm going to get this removed, and I'm going to start replacing it with pieces of fence so we can slowly come through and take... Of course, they're going to, you know, come in here at the very end of the day. But if I can just put in a couple pieces of fence in a place where I can, you know, not have another piece of stupid brambles growing. What the heck is barreled water? And where do I get it? Alright, well, this is some amount of nonsense, I guess. The beavers are now subsisting entirely on mushrooms. We have 10 dirty beavers now. The kimchi is continuing to ferment. What a weird way to end an episode. What a weird way to end an episode. Well, it's fine. I'm just gonna have to sit here babysitting these fences again. But man, now I'm gonna be thinking about this for the next like 2 days. Because I don't know. I don't have any clue how I'm supposed to get barreled water. Alright, come on now. Get that thing out of there. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. Come on. Can we lower the amount of time it takes to delete these? It's completely ridiculous. Alright, so at the very least, by the next time the brambles try to grow in here, they're not going to be able to because there is a wood fence or a wood fence construction site in the way. We have a primitive mine under construction, technically. We're going to want that to start out by getting coal. We lost a lot of cabbages, but you know, it is what it is. Wood burner in the process. We did not run out of water. We did not run out of food. We have full storage of pine resin, so I can pause that. And then I guess there's not really much else left to do in this episode except ask once again what the heck is barreled water. And I guess go ahead and do our end of episode stuff here. I really appreciate you guys watching this series. I know it's frustrating to watch and not have the knowledge of exactly what's going on. This is a hard mod, and it takes a lot of patience, I know, to watch me kind of fumble through this, but it's not as bad as the first one was. Not as bad as the first series was when we did this. That was quite the experience. I had a great time with it, but we do actually have a pretty decent grasp on the mechanics compared to back then. So I do appreciate your patience and understanding that I can't just magically do every single thing all at once. And look, we have limited resources, limited beavers, limited space, more than almost anything else. And stuff is just going to take time. But, you know, Beard Boosters make it possible to continue making these videos. I'm always going to say thank you every single video to those folks. Really, really appreciate the support. And I'm glad you're here too. Hopefully, he's not making you pull your hair out quite yet with all this fun stuff. But Waterbeavers has so much cool stuff in it. I am so excited we're back in this series. And I am really looking forward to getting into the mid and late game on this playthrough, because there's so much cool new stuff, man. So much cool new stuff. Cycle 4, Day 1. Water's coming back. We did not die. We had no beavers die of starvation or thirst. And it looks like we're in a pretty good spot here. I just don't have quite enough beavers to run everything quite yet. So before we end the episode, I'm going to unpause one more water pump so we can have more beaver babies get born. We will unpause the last remaining water pump next time. And we have all these other things that are slowly coming back, looking pretty good. We're going to have beavers in the clay pit to go ahead and continue construction on the wood burner. And then once that's done, we have it set up to make clay pots. Once the clay pots are made, or at least one clay pot is made, we can build a cooking tent, and then the cooking tent can take our cabbages and our mushrooms and make braised cabbage, which is a much better, well, whatever the math is on point 333 divided into 0.17 something, I don't know, 0.165, 0.167, 0.16725, whatever the math works out to, that much more efficient percentage-wise than the, well, if it was percent, it would be 16. Whatever. You get the point. We're making good strides. We are accomplishing things, even if it doesn't seem like it, because so much stuff just takes so long. We have made a lot of good progress today. And the library is just about finished. It has all the materials. They're at 97% by the time we get into the next episode, and I stop talking about the whatever. This is going to be ready to go, and we can have at least one beaver in here actually doing research. But that's all the time I got for this episode. I got to get. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Whatever it is you're doing, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.